In today's modern parenting, are you a first, a middle, or a last born? Well, according to a recent Washington Post article, your birth order affects your future, but not for the reason you think. Columnist Michael Koren writes, being born first is a far better bet in life. Younger siblings fare worse than firstborns on lifetime earnings, educational achievement, and mental health. Joining us to talk about all of it is clinical psychologist Jennifer Hartstein. That's quite a statement right there. As a firstborn, you kind of like hearing that, but it doesn't sound good for my sister and brother. How does birth order affect our future, especially for older kids?
So for firstborns, what we know is you have more quality individual time with your parents. Makes sense, you're the firstborn. But what the numbers showed is that you get 20 to 30 more minutes a day, which averages out to about 3,000 hours more of quality time with a parent. And at a very young age, what does that set you up for? Where you're getting more reading, more attention, all of that stuff that sets you up for greater success.
Okay, what about younger siblings? Because no offense, Josh, but I've always thought that my brother had it easy as the third child, got spoiled. What do we know?
So we know that younger siblings are also set up for success in some ways because there's been some trial and error on the older siblings, right? So you get a younger sibling who has parents with more experience. Maybe they have greater financial means, so they're more stable. And then the older sibling can act as a mentor or a role model or the protector. So you kind of have three parents sometimes kind of helping out with the younger sibling.
I'm not sure how much of a mentor I was.
We'll give it to you, Kate.
The Washington Post article does not specifically focus on middle children, but you're a psychologist.
Yes.
In your experience, what happens to middle kids?
So middle kids, there's so much mixed research on this, right? But what we do know is a lot of times middle children talk about feeling forgotten because you have the oldest and the youngest, and then where do I fit? And we see that either they're like high achievers or sometimes not, but they're really good negotiators because they're in the middle and they know how to like navigate all the different elements.
So what can parents do to try to account for some of what we're discussing and maybe make it a little more even for their kids?
So the key in all of this is how are you setting aside time, right? It's time management, which as busy parents, that's like impossible, but that's where we want to try and figure out how to start. And so if you're giving some to your older, do you find specific time for your middle? Do you find, what can we do? Because that is such a valuable resource and probably the most important thing you can give to your kids.
Yeah, I used to set up almost like play dates with me and each kid at certain times, same length of time, so that they each got that equal opportunity.
Yeah.
The Washington Post article also linked physical health to birth order. What are they saying there?
This was so fascinating to me when I read the article, is we don't think about germs as being one of the greater risk factors in birth order. And what we know is older kids bring home a lot of things to infants. And then the infants might end up hospitalized or sicker because maybe they don't have all their immunizations. And so it actually increases their risk of not getting that attachment and that attention in the same way.
2 to 3 times more likely to get an illness because of the older siblings bringing it home from school or daycare,
Correct.
I guess. Interesting. Jennifer Hartstein, this was really enlightening. Do you want to leave us with like one thought as a psychologist for if you're sitting there thinking, that was me, what should we be thinking?
You can think that's you, and here you are. If you're an adult, figure out how to be the best person you want to be and be the best parent you want to be, and maybe take a step back and figure out how to balance it out the best way you can.
Jen Hartstein, always great to have you. Thank you. You're watching NBC News Daily.